Introducing the Parenting Toolkit, preparing children with special needs for lifelong success. Now here's owner and clinical director of Epic ABA Solutions, Brad Runsick.
Today I want to talk to parents and care providers who have their hands full raising children with disabilities or diagnosed with autism. The journey can be overwhelming with millions of questions and millions of different answers. In response to this frustrating journey, I'm offering a toolkit that will empower you today for the future. It's called the Parenting Toolkit, Preparing Children with Special Needs for Lifelong Success. Hi, I'm Brad Runsick, a board-certified behavior analyst, and for the past 20 years I've devoted my life to children with disabilities. When I became a father, we had beautiful twin girls. On one hand, I felt like I'd won the lottery, and on the other, I felt like I'd received an enormous load. One daughter was born healthy, while the other one had multiple birth defects and needed immediate life support and surgery. Her condition made it impossible for her to eat for the first 13 months of her life. She was also not able to crawl. She had sleep apnea and many nights had to wear a respirator or be rushed to the hospital. Her mother and I took her to the emergency room many times in her first 3 years. Because of her numerous doctors and specialists, our lives were constantly busy rearranging schedules, trying to save and continue to look for necessary paperwork, and trying to manage what little finances we had. We felt that we were constantly having to make crisis decisions, so we grasped at any and every possible method or procedure that might help her. Simultaneously, we were trying and often failing to adequately meet the needs of her sister because we were exhausted. What we would expect to be just a typical family outing often became something else. We always prepared ourselves for a crisis, even though we might be just taking a trip to the zoo. Consequently, the Parenting Toolkit includes specific strategies and ideas for meeting your child's need while cultivating a nurturing home and enjoying family outings. Her mom was a nurse, and I was a grade school teacher. After years of working with our daughter, I wanted to be better equipped. So I went back and got a second degree in special education. It was then that I became more aware of the need parents share, and I became acquainted with autism. Although every child can deliver joy to their parents, there can also be many heartaches. A child with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, has communication deficits, so they may not be able to communicate with eye contact or tell their parents, "I love you." I had a dear friend who struggled raising 2 boys with autism who were completely nonverbal. She shared that to her great horror, both boys appeared to develop normally until they were about 2 years old. Then around the age of 2, they appeared to be deaf and they stopped talking. Marriages suffer. Marriage already presents challenges, but having a child diagnosed with autism or any other disability can create enormous heartache, anxiety, and tension. Parents are often too exhausted to communicate. Most marriages require outside support and a plan for maintaining healthy communication. It's not uncommon for parents to either blame themselves for their child's diagnosis or even blame each other. Everyone's life changes when they become a parent, but having a child with cognitive disabilities forces us to chart a new course through rough seas that most of us are not ready for. And outside of the home, pressures only intensify, as children who can't communicate often have tantrums in public, and parents are ridiculed from the grocery store line bystanders. Parents also struggle with the child's educational process. This may be one of the largest and longest struggles they experience. I've sat in IEPs as a parent, as a consultant, and as the classroom teacher. And I understand the multiple agendas that converge as people are charting the course for a child. It can be intensely frustrating. The Parenting Toolkit addresses all of these concerns and provides suggestions for better communication, for going into the community, for managing your child's educational process, and for maneuvering through the IEP process successfully. I've worked with hundreds of families and children, and I know you may be overwhelmed, and rightfully so. But there is hope. There's great hope for your child to reach their greatest potential. There's hope for your child to talk and carry on a conversation. Hope for your child to take care of themselves. Hope for them to succeed in school. And hope to develop meaningful, lifelong relationships. By now, you've probably seen a lot of YouTube videos depicting the lives of children and adults with autism, some wonderful and some heart-wrenching. These videos may have left you with many questions, wondering how your child will fare with their own diagnosis, and how those who developed rich lives made it through their journey. In response to these questions, I have developed a tested and proven roadmap for you as a parent. Let me start by telling you that for over 25 years there's been a proven intervention for recovery from the behaviors characterized by autism. It is so well documented that the government has paid millions of dollars for it through the Department of Disabilities. Many states have also passed laws requiring insurance companies to pay for the interventions. The intervention is so powerful that in a study at UCLA, it actually reversed the behaviors of an adult diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. You probably already know what I'm talking about. The intervention is called Applied Behavior Analysis, or ABA therapy. It works for a multitude of maladaptive behaviors, but the results vary greatly from child to child, and what is even more important, results vary depending upon the service provider used. As a parent, you need to know how to make sure your child is getting the same quality of intervention that was responsible for its outstanding success. In the 1980s, a UCLA study used ABA on preschool children with autism. After a few years of ABA, over 48% of the children were able to go into general educational classrooms without any autistic-like behaviors. That study has been reproduced thousands of times with the same proven results. Personally, I have had the pleasure to witness many successes with ABA therapy. My first experience was as a special ed teacher. I had a student who was virtually paralyzed from the neck down from an accident and could only smile and move his eyes. But after a few months with him using positive reinforcement during lunch breaks, he eventually walked 20 feet across the room in a walker. Another joy came a few years ago working with a teenager who avoided going to school or anywhere with his family. Instead, he chose to stay in the bathroom for 6 to 13 hours a day. After a few months of therapy and parent training, he was attending school daily and playing golf on the weekends with his parents. ABA therapy and the power of positive reinforcement was also responsible for toilet training a teenage boy after just a few weeks. But of all the potential successes of ABA, teaching a child to talk has probably been the greatest. Seeing children with no language to be able to carry on a conversation with their parent is the most rewarding. A family I spoke with recently shared with me how they lived in a third world country and moved to California for ABA services. They shared that when their child was 2, he had typical language and social skills for a 2-year-old. But then later, he lost all of his language. He started walking on his toes and tantruming continuously. Now, after 2 years of ABA, he is now talking and answering questions with his parents. The Parenting Toolkit is loaded with strategies for helping your child communicate better. Unfortunately, not everybody applying the interventions are achieving these impressive results. And without effective intervention, your child is most likely establishing maladaptive coping skill behaviors, such as tantruming, whining, and possibly self-injurious behaviors that will only increase. Consequently, it's imperative that you know how to evaluate the interventions your child is receiving. And more importantly, time is of the essence. Behaviors are being established daily. For instance, helping a child learn to talk is more easily accomplished before they're 5. I wish I would have understood the many strategies for getting a child to talk when I first started working with children with ASD. Because as children reach their teenage years, it's much more difficult to teach this skill. As I mentioned, the government is paying for this service, but it can take up to a year or more to get the ball rolling. I want to share with you today actions that will help you for your child's development. Without solid ABA practices, many kids never reach a healthy level of independence. Instead, they become masters of escape. I've seen them either simply ignore requests, or tantrum, or get aggressive, or argue, or create a psychosomatic neurosis. The worst outcome creates an adult who learns to be helpless. These adults are convinced that they can't take care of themselves or face any challenges. The Parenting Toolkit specifically addresses how to prevent prompt dependency and this learned helplessness. After many years in the field, I have now put together a tool to empower you with tried and true strategies. Because I live in a busy metropolis in Southern California, I've had access to observe and utilize many strategies and work with many competent colleagues. There is a lot of significant information on the internet to assist all of us as parents. However, what normally happens is that we spend a lot of time researching the topic of our child's disability, but are left not knowing how or when to apply the information. While research is profitable, it often gives us a false sense of progress. Research and conversations make us feel more equipped, but only when we take effective action does change occur. If you'll indulge me, I want to share with you these strategies. The Parenting Toolkit is a set of tools that will enable you as a parent to take immediate and meaningful action for your child. On my website, you will find the Parenting Toolkit, Preparing Children with Special Needs for Lifelong Success. It is a series of 10 videos covering 10 topics. The topics are: overwhelmed, the roadmap for charting a successful course of action, knowing what is the most important decision to make now; the road to recovery, obtaining the best ABA therapy; where does help come from and how to get it; how to make sense of your child's behaviors; maintaining your child's attention and getting them to follow instructions the first time; a powerful secret for turning maladaptive and often annoying behaviors into a catalyst for significant change; getting your child to want to learn; how to avoid behavioral cancer, which is prompt dependency; and many suggestions on helping your child to talk. Also, creating an environment that you enjoy coming home to with routines that enrich your relationships. Now, you've heard my story, and I would love to hear yours. Visit my website. Just click the link below. There you will find a useful intervention you can use today with tools that you already have. I look forward to hearing from you.
For more information, visit our website, epicabasolutions.com, and watch a free video that will help you take immediate life-changing action today. You'll also be able to access a library of other instructional videos specifically tailored for your child's ever-changing needs. Thank you for your time, and remember, play with your kids every day.